For more tips and tricks, don't forget to hit that button and subscribe. Also, ring the bell so you can get notifications anytime I have new videos. I'm Paul Ricalde, and today I'm going to show you a game changer when it comes to installing cathedral crown. This right here has to go up on an angle, and the bottom will kick out. It kills people all the time. But I made a simple jig that's only going to take a few minutes to make, and you're not going to believe how easy it makes cutting crown molding or installing this crown molding the proper way. Right here you have a few pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. 5 simple pieces. Straight cuts. Only one is mitered. This one right here has a 45-degree miter on the top and bottom. That's it. This one is 5 inches total in width, 24 inches long. The back one, straight cut, 5 inches, again, 24 inches long. The bottom, 4.5 inches up and down, and then you have, or width, and then you have 24 inches long. That's it. These two little pieces right here are just cut-offs. I'll show you how to do that. You glue them to the end, and you've got yourself a jig like no other. Before I start, I want to touch on a couple of things. We have a giveaway. FastCap is a fantastic company. I buy a lot of their products. This is something that I put on my saws. I met the inventor. He got with FastCap. They're making these for him, and now it's not only for DeWalt, they have it for Makita and Bosch as well. Great tools. I'm hoping to get it on the smaller DeWalts because I have another one, a 12-inch regular compound miter saw that I'd like to put it on because that one's a little more portable than my sliding compound. But I tell you what, best things I've ever had on my saw, and they've improved them. So you'll see me cutting on the old style. Now the new style has a longer bar to cover more, so it's easier to work with smaller pieces. We're going to give a set of these away to go on your saw, and you can match it up with the saw you have. We're also going to be giving away the 2P10 glue by FastCap. This is a 2-part glue. 2P10 means you take one part and put it on one piece. The activator you put on the other piece. When you bond them together, 10 seconds, 2P10, 10 seconds, it's bonded. If you want more time to work with it, don't use the activator, just use the glue. Excellent stuff. We're going to be giving that away as well. We're going to choose one winner for each one of these. So make sure you drop a comment. That's all you have to do. You can comment on anything about this video. It does not matter. Also, it really makes a difference if you go to my website and subscribe. That way I can get in touch with you because you give me your email address and I can mail you directly and tell you if you're a winner. All you have to do is send me your information. Nothing shared. Now, I have been out for a while again, and just a stumbling block, guys. Dealing with cancer again. I haven't been doing videos because I've been going through radiation treatments and other medications. So I have my down days. I'm almost finished. I only have 11 more treatments to go, and hopefully we get stuff straightened out with my lung. That's another issue. Once I do all that, I'm going to be rolling 100% again. I'm like a bad weed. I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming right back. I was doing stuff with Shelby Stanger, the swamp man. Can't go out in the swamps right now because of this. So once I get past all this, we'll be doing those adventures as well. Make sure you guys stick around with me. If you don't mind, share my videos, like them. It means a lot to me, and it helps me out right now because I had some dead time. Thanks. Let's get started. Today we're going to cover the second part of crown on a cathedral ceiling or a vaulted ceiling. If you haven't seen my previous video, it has some very important details that'll pertain to this one. So at the end of it, I showed you this piece right here and how I cut it to match. On the other one, when I first started, it kicked way out, right? Because this was fat. The larger and thicker the crown is, the harder it is to match your wall up with your slope. What I mean is, when it comes on the wall here, and you start angling, it opens up the bottom right here. And that's why I say the thicker it is, the harder it is to match this, because this starts riding on the end and it kicks that bottom out. See what I'm talking about? So what you would have to do is cut this off. But you don't want to cut off the face. You want to keep that profile and you want it to look perfect. I'm going to show you how to make a jig within a couple of minutes that's going to take this cut off and really make it look right. And it's easy to use, it's super easy to make. My first piece is 5 3/4. Now you can make it 6 inches, it doesn't really matter. Just make it a minimum of 5 3/4. This right here, these next 2 pieces are 5 inches. So you're gonna make these 24 inches long, all right? Because they're gonna go up against this fence right here. Now, what we wanna do is take this wider one, the one that's 5 3/4 inch, and we're gonna cut it at a 45-degree angle. I have my saw set back at 5 3/8, because this is 3/8 of an inch, and I just cut it right there. All right, now we have a nice bevel. So we will flip it over to this side, and we will do we're gonna have to do this one a little further back. I cut this short point at 4 5/8, so my long point should be right at 5 inches. So we'll go ahead and rip this real quick. We're gonna glue these together. So we'll take and put glue on this edge right here. This is Fast Cap CA glue. I'm using the thick. And right here, we'll spray this side with the activator. A little bit of activator. We put this together. And what I will do is get it ready. And I love my speed squares by Swanson. They help me line this up. That's it. We're ready. I could even take and clamp something on it if I want, right here. Remember this piece? Our piece that was our cutoff? We take this and set it up because it's 3/8 of an inch. Gives us that gap that we want. And we'll mark our line. This right here is going to help cradle everything and keep it in place. We're going to glue one right there and right here. I'm going to cut this part off of this. I'm going to cut a little angle right there. Normally your fence is going to be on the right side, but your blade tilts to the left, so you have to take and switch your fence over before you start. And you'll lock it in on this side. That way it holds it in place. And of course, we're going to put a clamp on the front and back to hold this in place and it doesn't move. I want to get close to the blade over here. I'll get right by my riving knife. That's why I have plenty of room right here. I want to get right by my riving knife. Now, if I have to take this riving knife out to work with a larger piece, which I do later, you'll see, I just take this riving knife out. There's a lever on the side that detaches it on this DeWalt, and then I can put it closer to the blade, because it may want to just slip just a tiny bit right there and it'll catch this. That's why I have this tapered to where it kicks it back in and it makes sure that everything rides straight. Most of the time I'll just use these little quick connect clamps to clamp it on the table or right here onto the fence. But if I need to slide it over a decent amount in order to compensate for the blade right here, when I take the riving knife out, I want to get that blade close to that edge. What I need to do is have a longer clamp, and I really like these. They're made by Craig. This is for my Craig kit pocket hole jigs, and man, you can pull it back and forth and lock it down real tight. Take a little bigger piece. So we'll put it like this. Of course, that doesn't have to go in that much of an angle. It's not going to do anything on that. So we're going to take this, change that blade, Get it about there. That should take off a good bit without messing up my bottom. When you start getting that blade up there, you want to use a push stick. See that? Perfect. I still have this full edge. But now in the back you see it's going to be nice and flat. That's going to sit just right. This is a cove with a little bit of detail, but it's a 45-degree angle, this one right here. This is a 45 crown. That's the spring angle, the angle it sits out. I just need a tiny bit off the top, but my riving knife is hitting. That's what I love about the DeWalt. You can pull that riving knife right out. A lot of them don't have that feature. As you can see, that's pretty much the max. Now I can bend it back here. It was so paper thin that I can pop it right off. I readjusted my blade from 20 to 24 degrees, and that allows me to get past this line right here. This is unplugged. So now that I'm past this line, I could get a nice clean cut, and I won't have to back cut it again on the table saw or break it off. I know some of you are thinking to yourself, well, when do I make this miter cut? Do I make it before this cut or after? You always make this cut first. Rip your piece, okay? All your horizontal pieces. Don't rip this one, because that one should be full thickness. You just need to rip this one because you're changing that pitch right here, that angle, or the spring angle. You're changing it. So the first thing you do, rip the back. Get them right, all your horizontal pieces. After that, it's easy street. You come back, and it's even easier to coat because you're making this thinner. You're cutting that back off of it. So it helps you out a little bit in that sense. I already cut the back off of this, but I can still use it on my slope as long as I pay attention to this, my factory edge. You want to make sure that this is not what you go off of. You see, if I laid it flat, this is going to be terrible. That's not going to be a correct cut. You have to go off of this angle here, and this one's small, but you can still see it. So we're cutting this piece right side up because it's a slope. So we're going to make this at 15 degrees. That's my top, that's my bottom. It went in right side up. My horizontal piece right here is going to be cut at a 45-degree angle because that is a 90-degree turn it's making. Don't worry about the slope. You remember, you're compensating for the slope with the cope over here that we're going to make. So what we're going to do is take this one upside down and backwards. We're going to flip it. We have to readjust this. But our problem was we already cut this off, right? So we're not going to go off of that. We're going to go off of this. We go off of that angle right there where it sits on the floor or the bed of my saw. Put my crown stops on here, my fast cap crown stops, which are fantastic. Did I say they were fantastic? Great stuff. I need to make this one a 45-degree angle, an inside cut, but I need this to be upside down and backwards because it's my straight horizontal run. You cut it just like you would your other regular crown in the nested position because it's going straight. So we will flip this upside down. We don't match up this one, we match up this one. This has to fit perfect right here because that's my factory edge, not this one. We take our saw, we set it over here. Why? Because we're making a 45-degree cut for a coat, and we want a long point at the bottom because it's going into the wall. Right there. I'm using my Works Pegasus sawhorse. This thing is fantastic. It's a table and it's a sawhorse and it gives you the clamps and everything. we will take this and make our cuts real quick. I'll put that intersecting line. Remember, we were right on that line right there. So I'll take this one. We'll match it. Sometimes you have to move it just a little bit. There you go. You find that sweet spot right there. Take my little gun. A little bit of caulk in there and you got it perfect. Now I have the piece that we didn't cut, right? And I'm going to set it right on this line down here because that was my reference mark to go up. And just look at it. Look at this big gap. I'm just going to set it up here and tack it in place. I'm going to use my 1 3/8" pin nailer because this is just for reference. I'll be able to take it off the wall when I'm finished. But look at that. That sits perfect. So I'll use my little pin nailer, just cross it. Because there's nothing there. That's just drywall. I can shoot it in here. You have a nice tight fit. And that's going to give you the perfect look. You're going to look like a pro. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, in order to win, all you have to do is drop a comment below. And in order for me to get in touch with you, all you need to do is go to the comment section or the description box. And it'll have my website in there. Go to my website and subscribe. That's it. That way, I can line these two up. When you go to my website and subscribe, just put in your channel information, whatever your YouTube handle is. That way, I can line them up with the comments. We'll pick the winners, and I'll be able to get in touch with you. If you don't mind, please hit like and comment, subscribe to Paul's Toolbox, and I'll see you guys later.